Hello, it's Liz. Welcome to my channel, West Star Tarot. And today I'm doing a video that I'm calling My Most Treasured Decks. And this idea for this video came about because I was having a conversation with my friend Ben about tarot decks. Shocking to hear. We talk about that all the time. But anyway, the subject came up of, Ben had just done a review of a deck, but he started out the video talking about a deck that he wasn't reviewing. And I just kind of got a kick out of that. And then we started talking about the deck. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's a Carol Herzer deck, and I said, I think that my Carol Herzer deck might be my most treasured deck, or one of my most treasured decks. And then I thought, that would make a good video. So I'm going to talk about my most treasured decks. These aren't necessarily my most used decks, or out of print decks, or I don't know what. They're just decks that I treasure. One of them I use daily, one of them I never use, and then there's everything in between. Some of them I've had for years and years and years and years, and one of them I've only had a couple years. So it's kind of a variety. There's not one set thing that makes these treasured, other than I treasure them. So let's start. And I'm going to start with the Carol Herzer. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most people know, Carol Herzer is an artist who makes Rider-Waite-Smith based decks, as you can see. And sadly, the only problem with her decks is that you cannot, in a photo or on a video, even get close to seeing how magnificent these decks are. This one is a sparkly one. So what Carol does is she takes Rider-Waite-Smith decks. She got permission from, I guess, Stuart Kaplan years ago, and printed out black and white outlines of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and then painted them. And then when you order the deck, what she does is she repaints them in a brighter, sort of more sparkly way. And this deck that I'm showing you, which you can't even see, has glitter on it. And then she varnishes them. No, varnish isn't the word. What am I trying to say? Covers them up with clear stuff. Sorry, I'm having a moment. Anyway, this is so sparkly and so gorgeous and so fun, and I'm so sad that it doesn't show up on the camera. But you can see it is just super Rider-Waite-Smith. So anyway, I had a Carol Herzer deck. Here it is right here, that I bought myself 10 years ago on, one of those special birthdays. And I just said, I'm going to splurge. I mean, it's a handmade deck. And the thing about these decks is they just last forever. The cardstock's really kind of thin, but I mean, this is a 10-year-old deck, and other than the sides being a little gray from my grubby hands, it looks brand new. I mean, it just, it's so protected, and it wears so well. I will always have this deck. But anyway, I had that version, and I was talking with a different tarot friend of mine, and they had seen that I posted on Instagram spreads that I had done from the Carol Herzer deck. And this friend of mine asked me what did I think, and they were thinking about getting one, and blah blah blah, and what about the glitter one. And I just was like, well, I just can't in any way, shape, or form afford the glitter one, otherwise I would get it, but I'm super in love with the one I do have. So my friend went on to buy this version that I've showed you, that sadly you cannot see the glitter on, and used it for, I don't know, a while, maybe a year or so, and then decided they were done with it and sent it to me. I mean, what a generous gift. I still can't get over that they did that. And I told them, you know, I can't accept this. I just can't. This is, you know, too much. And they said, no, I really wish that you would, because I used it this morning and got a message. You're done with this deck now, and you need to send it to Liz. And so they did. I mean, wow. Anyway, because it's handmade, and because it was gifted out of the heart and generosity of a friend, it is one of my most treasured decks for sure. All right, next up. I think I'll go here. Surprise! Tarot de Sanqua. I know you viewers of my videos will be like, yeah, we're not surprised to see that at all. But I mean, look at the box. It's all faded. It's all beat up. It's, you know, and the cards, I call it fluffy. This deck has been used so much that it's become fluffy. It's not stiff whatsoever. It's just a joy to, you can see all the wear and tear. This was one of the first indie decks I ever got, and I was just kind of getting into learning the Rider-Waite-Smith when I got this deck by Lisa de Sanqua, and I saw it advertised in the Cartomancer magazine, and I was intrigued, and so I ordered it from Lisa. And I love this deck, and I used this deck when I first got it just about every day for at least a year, and that's one of the reasons why there's so much wear and tear on it. Look at the color. Look at that color in the background of the Magician. Gorgeous. Anyway, I love this deck. It is without doubt one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite Seven of Wands. It's fabulous. Lisa did such a wonderful job with this deck. I love it. And I don't know what all the hubbub is about the borders, but for some reason, some people had like negative reactions to this border, to the color of the borders. I don't get it at all. And I think to myself, ooh, I wonder if those people have second chakra issues. Maybe they need to look at that if they're having such a weird reaction to the color orange. Anyway, this is without doubt one of my most treasured decks. And especially this time of year, it's definitely a summer deck for me. The vibrancy of the colors and the oranges and reds and yellows, I just feel like it is a super summery deck. I love Lisa's take on the tower. Really great. It's just a great deck, and I adore it, and I use it a lot, and I can't even imagine being without it. So that is the Tarot de Sanqua. Next up is a deck that I never use, but I treasure it all the same, and it's this one, the Corte de Tarocchi. Sorry, I don't speak Italian. And this deck I got one year when I was at Reader's Studio in New York. I thought, you know, I need a pip deck. I don't have a pip deck. And so I went to the table, the guy that was selling the Il Meneghello decks, and I was looking at, you know, a variety of different pip decks, all Italian style. And this one just screamed to me. The cardstock, oh my gosh, it's practically orgasmic. It's so amazingly wonderful. And I love the shape of the cards, that they're just so different. The tactile experience with this deck is just incredible. And I just take it out from time to time and look at the cards and feel the cardstock, and it's like going to a museum. It's, you know, it's an art exhibit for me, really. I really cannot shuffle this deck, you know, riffle shuffle. And it's just a deck that I don't really read with, but I adore and I treasure. And as I said, I pull it out from time to time and just look at it and touch it. And like I said, I feel like I'm going to an art exhibit. So that is the La Corte de Tarocchi. And I don't know, it says number 148 of 400, but I think they just keep coming out with more editions, so I don't think it's really actually 148 of 400 total. I think when they reprint it, which they do on occasion. So anyway, that is a most treasured deck. And like I said, I don't really use that one as opposed to the other decks that I'm going to be mentioning here. So next up is a deck that is out of print, and one of the reasons why I treasure it is because it is out of print and I can't replace it. So excuse me while I drink from my boob cup. I'll just say it a little aside for that mug. That mug was sent to me by a friend of mine who saw it and said she thought of me because I'm a lactation consultant. So along with being a tarot reader, a social worker, and herbalist, I am also a certified lactation counselor. So I have many hats, but anyway, that's why I have a boob mug. So this is the Delta Enduring. This is a fabulous deck, and I have talked about this deck on my channel multiple times. Mainly I show the Justice card and the Hierophant card and the Devil cards because they are my favorite version of those cards. So I wasn't going to show them. Oh, these are extra majors. The Heat, Hurricane, Termite Swarm, Mardi Gras. Now we're back to the majors, the Fool. Here's the beautiful Justice card. Let me get here. Here we go. So I love this deck. I have a real strong feeling of affection for New Orleans and that area, the culture, the music, the food, it's a unique place, let me put it that way. And this deck takes me there, to that Delta area. And I just love it. And it is sadly out of print. And I just wish some major publisher would pick this up. Although the creator, who is named Egan, maybe someone has reached out to them and they just don't want to sell the rights to it and aren't interested in reprinting it. I don't know, but it is without doubt one of my most treasured decks. It's great to read with. It has a little bit of a sense of humor, It has social justice aspect to it, which I do like in a deck. And I love the artwork. I love everything about it. So that is another of my most treasured decks. Now for the only oracle. This is the Living Wheel astrology cards. And you can see that, like the Tarot de Sanqua, it is beat up. It is well loved. It is well used. I use this deck every day. The cards are always out on my altar. And the reason that those two decks are so beat up is because, well, the boxes, the decks themselves are not, is because before the pandemic, I used to travel a lot for work because I taught, speaking of lactation, I traveled all over the United States, 1 week a month, sometimes 2 weeks a month, teaching a lactation certification course. So out on my altar always is the sun and the sign that the sun is in, the earth, and the turn of the wheel or the season we're in. Look at how gorgeous these paintings are. And the creator of this deck is Patrick Fogarty. And here we have the moon. So I always have out on my altar those 6 cards. And I change them out on a regular basis. And I do the old school kind of signs, you know. Patrick, I know now, is doing real time, and I don't do that because I'm barely learning this kind of astrology. I'm like, oh shoot, now I got to move to real time. Oh please, these are the beautiful planet cards. Oh, look at this artwork. It's gorgeous. These cards are amazing, and I'm just so love this. Very little pamphlet that just kind of you know, gives you a little few keywords on each card, but there's sun signs, moon phases, the 8 turns of the wheel, houses. Did I say planets? Planets. I think that's it. Anyway, everything you could possibly need. And, you know, you can use any system you want, I believe, to work with these cards. So, anyway, I love that deck. I use it every day. I think it's stunning, and it's helped me learn and get in touch with astrology, which I always sort of struggled with. So, next up is another one that you've probably seen if you watch my channel, and it is the Gaian Tarot by Joanna Powell Colbert. But this, although I treasure my Llewellyn version of it, I really treasure this one. So this is, Joanna printed, I think, 1,000 of these big giant cards. Here we see. So you can see how that's a regular tarot size. These are really, really big. And I just love this deck. I treasure it. This is on my altar right now, the Seeker. I absolutely love this version of the Fool. And I'm being led and inspired by the Fool right now in my life. And this is the version. I have this out on my altar. So I'm just going to go through the majors. This is a gorgeous deck. And look, the teacher with all these beautiful animals and plant spirits. She has renamed some of the majors, and the court cards are Child, Explorer, Guardian, and Elder. Why I forgot that, I don't know. Look at that Hermit. Oh my gosh. I think this is one of my all-time favorite wheel cards. It's stunning. The artwork is gorgeous. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful deck. It speaks to me heart and soul, and mind. It's just absolutely stunning. I love it so much, and I would cry if anything ever happened to this deck. Can you see? That's Kuan Yin in the sky of judgment, and here's the world. So that is the indie version of the Gaian Tarot, and when I ordered it from Joanna, I don't know how many, I've had this at least 5 years or more. It came in this little bag that Joanna made, and there's crystal and some herbs in the bag. And it did come with a guidebook that's different than the one that you get with the Llewellyn or the Schiffer version. It doesn't have, it's the same book, but it doesn't have the color. So I tend to use the one from the Schiffer, even though I don't use those cards, because I love having the, you know, the colored cards. Let's see if I can get the color cards in the guidebook. It's just nice to have, but they're really basically the same. So last but not least of my treasured decks is this one. Again, one that I talk about rather frequently. And it is Daughters of the Moon. This is the full color version. Round deck, big deck, really shiny deck. And it was created by Fiona Morgan. She was the, oh, I love that. One of my, oh my God, what a beautiful magician card. It's called The Witch. Oh, look at how gorgeous. I got this deck many, many years ago, decades ago, and I absolutely love it. It is definitely one of my most treasured decks. I just don't know, well, I'm sure I would survive and live without it, but I would be sad. It's just gorgeous. Again, it speaks to me, and it's representational of who I am and what I believe and how I see life and human existence on this planet, and how I'd love to see us interacting with each other, the planet, the plants and animals and everything else on our beautiful planet. So that is the Daughters of the Moon, one of my most treasured decks. So as I was gathering these decks together, I had a realization that of all these decks, I think except for the Delta Enduring and the La Corte de Tarocchi, I have more than one version. So I already showed you that I have 2 Carol Herzers, and I have 2 Gaian. Oh, I brought the wrong one down. So I have the Llewellyn Gaian, and I have the original Daughters of the Moon, and this one I got when it was first published, and I don't exactly know when, but it's the black and white version, and again, I've shown this many times on my channel. I don't really use this one, but I treasure it all the same. It's the exact same artwork as the one that's been colored in, only it's black and white, and it's not shiny. And it was meant to be, it was made that way so that you could color in your own version. So I also have 2 living wheels. This was a special edition one that Patrick put out with this beautiful wooden box. So here's the other one. You could see it's not beat up. I don't think I've ever used it because I just used my old faded, beat up everyday one. And then last but not least, I do have more than one version of the Tarot de Sanqua. I have this one, and this is the one you can get now from Lisa. It's beautiful. I love it. It's matte. It does not have borders except for down at the bottom. Oh, isn't that a great Nine of Swords? I love it, but my heart belongs to the original one. I use both of them a lot, and I love both of them. But if I could only have one, I would want it to be the one with the terracotta or orange borders. And in fact, I love that version so much that when it went out of print, when Lisa said she only had a few decks left of the orange version, I bought another one. I don't know why I had thought I had to have a second one of these, but I just did, and it's still wrapped. I've never opened it. I'm still working with my original one that I've had for, I don't know, since it came out many years ago. But I do have that just in case, because anyway, those are my most treasured decks. Comment below or make your own video and tell me, what are your most treasured decks? What decks do you just hold in your heart and speak to your soul, and that you just love and would be really sad if you didn't have any more? So thanks for stopping by on this beautiful sunny day. Peace and love.